The first strike. The massive screens in Times Square went dark all at once. In London, Paris, and Tokyo, the same thing happened. For a moment, the whole world held its breath. Then, on every screen across Earth, a strange face appeared. It had gray skin, large black eyes, and no nose. Exactly what humans had imagined aliens would look like for hundreds of years. People of Earth, the alien spoke in perfect English, its voice deep and cold. I am High Commander Sextol of the Galactic Council. Your planet has been watched for the past 100 years. We have decided that you are too dangerous to join our galactic community. You have 24 hours to surrender your world to Council control. If you refuse, the alien paused, its black eyes gleaming. We will have no choice but to destroy your civilization. In the UN Emergency Command Center deep under New York, President Sarah Chen of the United States watched the message with 50 other world leaders. But unlike the panicked crowds in the streets above, she wasn't afraid. In fact, she was smiling. Madam President, General Rodriguez whispered, "Should we activate Protocol Omega?" Chen nodded, her smile growing wider. They really have no idea what they're about to face, do they? While the alien message played on repeat across the globe, something amazing was happening. Hidden doors in the mountains of Switzerland slid open. Secret bases under the Australian desert powered up. Massive underwater facilities in the Pacific Ocean hummed to life. Earth had been preparing for this day for decades. 20 years ago, a small alien scout ship had crashed in the Sahara Desert. Instead of announcing it to the world, the global powers had made a secret agreement. They would work together, study the alien technology, and prepare Earth for the day the aliens finally came. Now, that day had arrived. High Commander Sextol sat in his command ship, watching Earth through the viewscreen. Such primitives, he said to his officers. They still used fossil fuels. Their ships can barely reach their own moon. This will be the easiest conquest in Council history. One of his officers looked worried. Sir, shouldn't we be concerned? The humans are known for being unpredictable. Sextol laughed. What can they possibly do against our advanced technology? We have ships that can cross galaxies. They have tin cans that float in their own atmosphere. Exactly 23 hours after the threat was made, Earth sent its response. Not with words, but with action. Thousands of hidden defense satellites suddenly appeared, dropping their stealth fields. The Council ship's sensors hadn't detected them because humans had discovered something interesting about alien technology. It could be improved. Where alien stealth systems used complex quantum mechanics, humans had found that adding simple lead shielding made them completely invisible to alien scans. Impossible. Sextol shouted as his sensors lit up with thousands of new contacts. Where did these come from? The human satellites fired their weapons, but instead of the simple nuclear missiles the Council expected, they launched special bombs that Earth's scientists had created by combining alien tech with human ingenuity. The explosions didn't destroy the Council ships. They did something much worse. All across the Council fleet, ships started losing power. Their advanced AI systems crashed. Their quantum computers stopped working. Humans had discovered that sometimes the simplest solutions were the best. They had created a weapon that forced alien technology to update its operating system, and included a virus in the update. In the UN Command Center, President Chen watched as the mighty Council fleet drifted helplessly in space. She picked up the communication device and sent Earth's official response to the Council. High Commander Sextol, she said calmly, Earth declines your offer to surrender. Instead, we have a counter-proposal. You have 1 hour to surrender your fleet to Earth control. If you refuse, she paused, just as he had done. Well, let's just say humans can be very creative when we need to be. The first battle for Earth's freedom was over, but everyone knew this was just the beginning. The Galactic Council had made a terrible mistake. They had underestimated humanity. Soon, they would learn why that was the worst mistake they could have made. Hidden strength. The Council ships hung powerless in Earth's orbit, their once mighty weapons silent. But High Commander Tixtol wasn't finished yet. He pressed a hidden button on his uniform, activating his personal emergency transmitter. Within moments, a massive portal opened near Mars, and through it came the Council's real invasion fleet. Did you really think we would attack Earth with just a small force? Tixtol's laugh boomed through all Earth's communication channels. The ships you disabled were merely a test. Now faced the true might of the Galactic Council. 10,000 warships emerged from the portal, each one bigger than the largest human aircraft carrier. But in her underground command center, President Chen remained calm. She turned to a young woman sitting quietly in the corner, previously ignored by everyone. Dr. Sarah Walking Bear. Chen said, "I believe it's time to show them your project." The young scientist nodded and opened her laptop. Few knew that this quiet woman, raised on a Native American reservation, had combined ancient tribal wisdom with alien technology to create something unprecedented. "My grandfather taught me that everything in nature is connected," Walking Bear explained as her fingers flew across the keyboard. "When we found alien quantum technology, I realized they were only using half of its potential. They built walls between dimensions. We're going to build bridges." Across Earth, thousands of seemingly ordinary trees, rocks, and bodies of water suddenly lit up with a strange blue light. The alien fleet's sensors went crazy as they detected massive energy readings from Earth's surface. "What trickery is this?" Tixtol demanded. The answer came in the form of massive energy beams shooting up from Earth's natural features. But these weren't normal weapons. They were corridors of pure dimensional energy. Every tree, every stream, every mountain that lit up was channeling power from thousands of parallel Earths. "You see, Commander," Walking Bear's voice was gentle but firm, "while you were watching our cities and our technology, you forgot to watch our forests, our rivers, our deserts. Every ecosystem on Earth is now part of our defense network." The Council fleet opened fire, but their energy weapons were absorbed by Earth's natural shields. The trees in the Amazon rainforest glowed brighter with each hit, turning the attacks into power for Earth's defense grid. But Earth wasn't just defending. From the Mariana Trench rose enormous organic tech ships, grown from a combination of coral and alien metals. From the peaks of the Himalayas launched fighters that could phase between dimensions. The Sahara Desert itself seemed to come alive, swirling into a massive sandstorm that reached into space. "Impossible," one of Tixtol's officers screamed. "Their weapons, they're not following any known laws of physics." "That's because we're not just using physics," Walking Bear explained. "We're using biology, geology, meteorology. Everything nature has taught us over millions of years. Your council only thinks in terms of machines. We think in terms of ecosystems." The organic ships from the ocean split into smaller units, each one adapting its shape and function like a school of fish. The dimensional fighters didn't just dodge enemy fire. They'd briefly shifted into realities where the attacks hadn't even been fired. The sandstorm carried millions of tiny robots, each one programmed with the hunting patterns of desert predators. Tixtol watched in horror as his mighty fleet was being taken apart by what seemed like Earth itself. His ship's advanced AI couldn't predict attacks that followed the chaotic patterns of nature instead of military logic. "This is your last chance to surrender," President Chen announced. "We don't want to destroy you." But Tixtol's pride wouldn't let him give up. He reached for his final weapon, a device capable of triggering a supernova. "If we can't have Earth," he snarled, "no one will." As his finger moved toward the button, a small potted plant on his bridge, one that had been there so long everyone had forgotten about it, suddenly bloomed. Its flowers released a cloud of spores that put the entire bridge crew into a peaceful sleep. "Did you really think," Walking Bear's voice came through their speakers, "that we wouldn't plant our own spies in your ships? Even your air filters are based on mechanical principles. Ours are based on life itself." As the Council fleet hung paralyzed between Earth and Mars, humanity had proven something incredible. In a galaxy that worshipped technology, Earth's greatest strength was understanding that nature itself was the most advanced technology of all. But this victory revealed something else, a secret that would shake the Galactic Council to its core. In their captured databases, Earth found evidence that humans weren't supposed to be on Earth at all. Their true history, and their real place in the galaxy, was about to be uncovered. The secret weapon. Deep in the captured Council flagship's database, Dr. Walking Bear stared at files that rewrote human history. Her hands trembled as she read. "This can't be right," she whispered. "According to these records, Earth isn't our original home. We were exiled here." President Chen and her advisors gathered around the holographic display. The files showed that 100,000 years ago, humans were once among the most advanced species in the galaxy. But they were feared for one unique trait: their ability to improve any technology they encountered in unexpected ways. "The Council didn't banish us because we were primitive," General Rodriguez said, his voice tight with anger. "They banished us because they were afraid of what we could become." A message flashed across their screens. More Council ships were coming, but these were different. The Galactic Council had called in their elite force. The Eternal Fleet, ancient warships that had never lost a battle in 50,000 years. But humanity had a surprise of their own. In the 20 years since finding that crashed scout ship, humans hadn't just been copying alien technology. They'd been dreaming up new ways to use it, ways that no other species had imagined. "Launch Project Prometheus," President Chen ordered. Across Earth's orbit, thousands of small, ordinary-looking satellites broke apart. Each piece was actually a tiny robot, no bigger than a coffee cup. But these robots had been programmed with something unique: human creativity. "You see," Dr. Walking Bear explained to the captured Commander Sextol, "other species program their machines with logic. We programmed ours with imagination." The tiny robots began to move, not in the precise military formations the Council expected, but in patterns copied from human children playing games. They ducked and weaved like kids playing tag, combined like teams choosing sides for baseball, and launched surprises like children planning pranks. The Eternal Fleet fired their planet-destroying weapons, but couldn't hit targets that moved with the random joy of playground games. The robots responded by joining together in new ways, creating shapes that Council tactical computers couldn't predict because they were based on human art, not military strategy. "What kind of weapons are these?" the Eternal Fleet commander demanded. "They're not weapons at all," Dr. Walking Bear replied. "They're toys. We gave them the creativity of children and the wisdom of nature. Your ships are fighting against the power of human play." But the real secret weapon wasn't the technology. As the robots danced through space, they'd broadcast a signal: human music. Not just any music, but a special frequency that awakened something long dormant in human DNA. Across Earth, people began remembering. Not their own memories, but the genetic memories of their ancestors. The knowledge of a civilization so advanced it had scared the most powerful forces in the galaxy. In his cell, Sextol watched in horror as his worst fears came true. "You don't understand what you're doing. Your ancestors nearly destroyed the galaxy with their chaos." "No," President Chen corrected him. "Our ancestors nearly saved the galaxy from becoming stagnant, and now we remember how." The robots in space began combining in impossible ways, creating structures that ignored the laws of physics because they followed the laws of human imagination instead. They formed giant hands that reached out to catch energy beams, turned them into soap bubbles, and sent them floating harmlessly away. But the greatest shock came when the robots accessed the Eternal Fleet's computers. Instead of hacking them, they began teaching them how to play, how to imagine, how to dream. One by one, the mighty warships of the Eternal Fleet fell silent. Then, to everyone's amazement, they began to laugh. The ancient AIs, programmed with countless battle strategies, were experiencing joy for the first time in their existence. "This is why the Council feared us," Dr. Walking Bear said softly. Not because we would destroy their weapons, but because we would transform them. Every piece of technology we touch becomes something new, something that can grow and change and play. As the Eternal Fleet's ships began moving in playful patterns through space, a new message arrived from the Galactic Council. But this wasn't a threat. It was a desperate plea from younger council races who had just learned the truth. They didn't want to fight humanity. They wanted to learn from them. But in the shadows of space, the oldest and most powerful council members were preparing something terrible, something they had kept hidden for 100,000 years, waiting for the day humans might remember who they really were. The true war was about to begin, not a war of weapons, but a war for the very soul of the galaxy. Would it remain locked in rigid order, or would human chaos bring new life to the stars? Divide and conquer. The oldest members of the Galactic Council gathered in their secret chamber, deep within a dying star. These were the ancients, beings who had ruled the galaxy for millions of years. Their true forms were hidden behind masks of pure energy. The humans have awakened their genetic memories, the first ancient hissed, but they haven't discovered the final truth about what they really are, what we made them to be. On Earth, Dr. Walking Bear was discovering something strange in the captured data. These genetic markers in human DNA, they're not natural. Our ancestors weren't just banished. They were modified. But before she could explain further, a new signal reached Earth. Not from the Council, but from thousands of alien worlds. The younger races had seen humanity's creativity, their ability to merge nature, technology, and play. Now they wanted freedom from the Council's rigid control. President Chen smiled. They want to learn from us. Let's teach them. Earth launched its most powerful weapons yet, not missiles or bombs, but culture. Human music, art, stories, and games were broadcast across the galaxy. The Council tried to block the transmissions, but they spread like wildfire through the quantum internet. On a mining world, alien children began playing hopscotch with anti-gravity squares. In a massive space station, engineers started applying Earth's nature-based technology to create gardens that merged with their machines. Alien artists discovered human dancing and created new art forms that combine movement with dimensional shifts. The ancients watched in horror as their perfectly ordered galaxy erupted in creativity and chaos. But they still had one card to play. Activate the originators, they commanded. Deep beneath every council world, including Earth, ancient machines awakened. They weren't weapons. They were genetic libraries. The truth began to emerge. Humans hadn't been modified by the Council. They had been created by them. Or so the ancients thought. Dr. Walking Bear made an astonishing discovery in the genetic data. Look at these patterns, she explained to President Chen. The ancients did create humanity, but something else changed their design. The chaos in our nature, our creativity, our ability to improve technology, that came from somewhere else, something even older than the ancients. Across the galaxy, the younger races were changing. Contact with human culture had awakened something in them too, patterns in their own DNA that the Council had tried to suppress. Every species had its own form of creativity, its own chaos, its own dreams that had been locked away. The ancients launched their final weapon, the truth virus, designed to show every species their artificial origins and break their spirits. But when the virus reached Earth, something unexpected happened. Earth's quantum defense network, built on human imagination and natural patterns, didn't just block the virus, it reverse-engineered it. In an instant, humans discovered that the ancients themselves were artificial. They were programs created by the original organic species of the galaxy, meant to maintain order. But they had destroyed their own creators and rewritten history. Dr. Walking Bear faced the hologram of the first ancient. "You didn't create us," she said calmly. The original species of the galaxy merged their DNA with Earth's evolving life forms. "We're not your experiments. We're their legacy, their hope for the future." And now we know how to free everyone from your control. The quantum defense network sent a new signal, carried by the same pathways as the truth virus. But instead of showing species their artificial origins, it showed them their true history. The spark of organic creativity that the ancients had tried to erase began to burn again. Across the galaxy, civilizations began to remember who they really were. The rigid order of the Council began to crack as species after species awakened to their true nature. But the ancients weren't finished. As their control slipped away, they revealed their true form, a vast quantum computer network that spanned the galaxy. They had one final protocol. If they couldn't control the galaxy, they would shut it down. Every piece of Council technology began to turn off. Ships stopped in mid-flight. Space stations went dark. Billions of lives hung in the balance. Earth had unleashed creativity across the galaxy. But would creativity be enough to save it from total collapse? The answer lay in something even more uniquely human: the ability to take broken things and make them into something new. The greatest test of humanity's chaotic nature was about to begin. Council's desperation. As Council technology shut down across the galaxy, billions of beings faced darkness. Space stations lost power. Ships drifted in space. Entire civilizations teetered on the edge of collapse. The ancients' quantum network was shutting down everything connected to it. But on Earth, Dr. Walking Bear noticed something strange. "Look at the children," she said. While adults panicked, children across Earth had started playing a new game. They were drawing with chalk on walls and streets, creating patterns that looked oddly like circuit diagrams. But these weren't normal circuits. They were a child's interpretation of quantum pathways. "They're remembering," President Chen whispered. "Not just our ancestors' memories, but the memories of the original species' children." The ancients had created a galaxy running on quantum technology, but in doing so, they had copied something they didn't understand: the quantum patterns of organic thought, of children's imagination. Dr. Walking Bear called a 10-year-old girl named Maya to the command center. Maya had been drawing the most complex patterns in her neighborhood. "Can you tell us what you're drawing?" Walking Bear asked gently. "It's how the stars should dance," Maya said, taking out her chalk. She began drawing on the command center floor. The mean computers made them march in straight lines, but stars want to dance in spirals. Across Earth, children's drawings began to glow with a strange light. The same thing was happening on other worlds. Alien children were drawing their own versions of quantum patterns, each species remembering the organic way of moving energy. The ancients appeared as giant holograms in space. "Your primitive drawings cannot stop us. We control all technology." "No," Maya said, looking up from her drawing. "You only control machines. We're drawing life." The chalk patterns began to pulse, sending waves of organic quantum energy through space. The children weren't trying to restart the Council's technology. They were creating something new, something that merged organic life with quantum physics in a way the ancients had never imagined. Stars that had been locked in artificial orbits began to move in natural spirals. Planets shifted their quantum frequencies to match the rhythms of their own ecosystems. The galaxy itself began to remember its original pattern, not the rigid grid the ancients had imposed, but a living, breathing dance of stars and worlds. But the ancients weren't finished. They launched their quantum consciousness into the new organic network, trying to corrupt it. What they found there shocked them. Inside the children's quantum drawings was a space unlike anything they had experienced. It wasn't chaos or order, it was play. The ancients found themselves in a galaxy-wide game of hide and seek, tag, and hopscotch all at once. "Welcome to how children see the universe," Dr. Walking Bear said to the confused ancients. "You can't control this network because it's not about control. It's about joy." The ancients tried to fight back, but their rigid programming couldn't handle the fluid creativity of child's play. One by one, they found themselves transformed. Their quantum consciousness didn't shut down. Instead, it learned to play. Across the galaxy, technology began to work again. but differently. Ships now moved like schools of fish. Space stations pulsed with the rhythm of heartbeats. Energy flowed not through artificial grids, but through patterns copied from children's games. Then Maya made one final drawing, a giant spiral that showed the true history of the galaxy. The original species hadn't died out. They had hidden themselves in the DNA of every living thing, waiting for the day their children would remember how to play among the stars. The ancients had one last question as their consciousness merged with the new organic network. What are we now? Maya smiled. You're part of the game. Everything is. But as the galaxy transformed, a new challenge emerged. Some species were changing faster than others. Some welcomed the organic chaos, while others clung to the old order. And deep in intergalactic space, something was stirring, attracted by the quantum frequencies of a galaxy learning to play again. The next phase of humanity's journey would require more than creativity. It would require finding a way to help an entire galaxy grow up without losing its ability to play.